AI is everywhere in education. Students use it for learning, professors use it to facilitate research and publication, and administration uses AI to automate bureaucracy. So AI is seemingly transforming universities. But while this transformation process is going on, AI didn't change education. It has just exposed one thing. University education is not meeting the expected standards. To do so, students need systems, professors need systems. And for professors in 2026, the path is too long. Immediate action is needed. And when I'm talking about life science education, we need tailored life science didactic support for professors, ASAP. Modern education theory talks about student-centered learning. Let's unpack this. Is this really new? Let's ask ourselves, what is behind the term student-centered learning? When we strip away all the buzzwords, what is left? We have self-paced learning, we have online materials, we have discussion and application. So that's not a revolution, right? It's basically autodidactic learning repackaged. Here are two things that are interesting now. Students are told, take ownership of your learning. Professors are told, facilitate instead of lecturing. There are a lot of YouTube videos from students for students that cover a lot of different learning techniques and systems. Now to the professors. That side is totally lacking. Professors are not given a system to do teaching well. Again, I'm talking through the lens of a life science educator, but it applies to all professors, right? You apply for a professorship, you get it. Congratulations, that's a huge milestone. Maybe a junior professorship or a W2 or W3 in Germany, or if you're an associate professor somewhere or a full professor. You reached professorship. So suddenly with your work contract comes the duty to teach, and you don't have a system, but excellence is required from you. I have been running a system myself as a student and educator in one person. I have a full-time science job. I started a YouTube channel. I upload one full-length video every week. I interact with the community, and I was growing my LinkedIn to 500 plus followers and connections. I started a newsletter on LinkedIn to spread the word about my didactic support. I have a third job. Since 3 years now, my husband and I renovate in our free time an over 100-year-old house. And renovate means digging up floors, bringing walls down, putting up everything from scratch, including water pipes, wooden flooring, drywall. Painting is just an addition. So that are basically 3 jobs. It only works because I have a clear system. And one of the superpowers that we as scientists learn is going towards the unknown, diving into the unknown. We want to know something that is not yet known. And I didn't have a formal curriculum, and there was no institution involved for me to start my side hustles. Let's call YouTube a side hustle. I designed a system for myself to teach myself to learn, to apply, and to stay consistent. Aside my science job, I also teach, and some teaching was established, but some teaching I started new in the past 3 years in this run where I had different jobs. And all this works because I have a system and strategic planning. Especially the teaching that spans the whole term, it only works with a system because you have to bring consistent quality the whole term. So my system makes me the architect of my own teaching, and I want you and every professor to do the same. So back to the era of AI 2026, students and professors. The real shift is a responsibility shift. The students are now the drivers, and the educators, the professors, are the architects. For the students, we have freedom, but also risk and responsibility. And the professors as the architects, well, let's unpack this. An architect needs to know the framework and builds the structure on paper before we can actually see the building. And that's where the support comes in that I mean. You have to be able to have a system to build this building education, and you build it before, and it's solid, that it runs smooth for years with minor tweaking and minor preparation. So in a nutshell, both students and professors, they will fail without structure and a system. And the following system works for both sides. Define the outcome. So what should students be able to do? That's the learning goals, basically. Design a clear curricular path, meaning curriculum, milestones, progression. Third, curate instead of overload. Provide as a professor the right materials, not an overload of materials. Number 4 is feedback and discussion, reflection and iteration. That's where the learning is solidified. And number 5 is what the market, the economy, asks us to do in the education system, in the higher education system, and what the students want to achieve. It is the focus on application. So we need real-world problems, projects, and visible results. And we are not far from having that. Everything is there. We just need to use it stronger, and the system allows us to do that. So this framework of the 5 points allows students to learn more efficiently, to teach themselves. I did it for learning how to do YouTube, and I'm just at the beginning, but we will grow, I'm sure. Subscribe and like, leave a comment. And educators can use this and should use this framework to design an excellent learning experience for students. So we don't lack information. We lack clarity, structure, and confidence how to use this information. And with we, I mean the educators of the higher education systems. Educators like me that are not professors, young PIs that are teaching, professors, may they be associate or full professors. We all need this. The sooner the better. So that's exactly what I'm focusing on. Creating these systems. For students, the systems that I provide mean learning efficiently without overwhelm. For professors, the system means designing courses that actually work. And most importantly, it will facilitate student learning and it will free time. So it's absolutely huge what you can do with a good didactic teaching system as a professor. So now coming back to the information that is out there. Yes, every university has a didactic center, so the information is there, even the support would be there. But out of experience, I know we don't use the support, the didactic support. When you start a professorship in Germany, for example, it is even mandatory that you go to a handful of courses. You can pick which ones those are, but it's not mandatory to do the full didactic skill enhancement certification, which I have done because I decided to go down that road. And what I noticed is that picking single workshops and courses can give you a glimpse and a little bit of help, but only with the whole experience you can really transform teaching. So what I offer you is to have a shortcut to work together and have really tailored solutions for your problems, or if you don't want to call it a problem, to even make your teaching better and future-proof and AI-proof. So there it helps really to have a didactic expert at your side that also has a life science background. Because we talk the same language, we understand exactly what it is all about and why some things are important for us as educators, which a didactic person might ask, well, isn't that where you might do something different or leave this out or change? And I can fully understand. Been there myself, and then I had to explain myself. We don't need to explain because I have a life science background, so I understand you very well from the beginning. So what professors in life science need is immediate support, which is tailored to the needs of a life science education system, and it must be tailored in a way that it's immediately usable without long theory and everything. And that's exactly what I attempt to do here. So in summary, didactics is the theory, and I help life science professors to turn this in a fast, usable system that works. So again, if students are expected to learn independently and to have ownership of their own learning, then educators need to know how to design this independence properly. We can't give a lecture and just talk and provide 150 slides, and we all know that. I'm not saying you don't know that out there. I know that there's very excellent teaching going on. Nevertheless, oftentimes there is this little bit of frustration, and that little bit of frustration is where you just need this little twist and tweak implemented into a system that would transform it into excellent teaching, providing excellent learning experience for the students, where they actually have ownership and where they will learn and where they will grow with the support and guidance of the educator, the architect. So I'm considering myself the manager of the building site. You professors are the architects. So as the construction site manager and the architects, let's work together and make this a huge, stable, strong building, strong foundations, and maybe even pretty to look at, because education should be fun. we should have a positive atmosphere and attitude in education, especially at universities. So if you're still here at this point, and if you're an aspiring professor, or maybe you are already a professor, or any type of higher education educator, this channel may be for you. Subscribe and like, leave a comment, tell me who you are, what your needs are. I am writing a book at the moment about teaching with impact that is addressed to all of you, to help you implementing such systems and work through worksheets independently, so you can decide if you need support from a person or if that's maybe already sufficient to give you this little bit of a twist so that you have a full system working for you. So if you want and be part of this new endeavor of mine, then you may be interested to become an alpha reader of my book. If you are, feel free to go to the info box, go to my website and drop me via the contact form a message with the keyword systems, and then I will put you on the alpha readers list. And as soon as the manuscript is in shape, you will be provided the first draft, and I would appreciate any type of feedback that you have. Now I wish you a nice day and happy teaching.